Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am back with a very special video today, and it's brought to you by our mates at Surfshark. So thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and we'll be telling you a little bit about them later on in the video. But we are talking today 3 signings. Me and Joe are going to come together to decide 3 signings that will turn Manchester United into Premier League champions. Because that's where we need to be looking now, isn't it, Joe?
We got to a point for the first time in a long time where I honestly think the right 3 signings could win us the league. I wouldn't have said, like, under Van Gaal or under Jose, if you'd have said 3 signings, I was like, well, we need 6. I think now if we do get the right 3, we have a genuine shot at winning the league. So it's a good time to do it.
It is. And I've got to agree with you as well. It feels like, now I'm not saying we're going to go and win the Champions League and Premier League in back-to-back seasons. Feels like Klopp's Liverpool, just before they got Alisson and Van Dijk. You know, where you can see what Ollie's trying to do. You can see there's a little bit of confidence there, but not quite all the tools to get the job done. But we're doing pretty well. 2nd place at the moment, which is good. Is that a success?
Well, it depends on it, because when you look at actual success, it's winning trophies. But compared to expectation, then yeah. If success is, result compared to expectation, then I think it is a success. If it's, result compared to history, then of course it isn't. Finishing 2nd isn't great for Man United. But we have to be realistic about where we are and where we've been. This would be only the 2nd time, or is only the 2nd time, or sorry, the 1st time that we've had 2 back-to-back Champions League seasons post-Fergie. Like, that shows you how poor we've been over the last 8 years. So I guess on that front, you've got to say it is success.
That's true as well. I hadn't really thought about that, because you don't think about United qualifying for the Champions League as success, do you? Like Arsenal fans did at one point. You don't regard it success. And the fact that, we kind of have to regard it as success because of where we were. But we know so much more needs to be done. And that's why we're doing this video today. Before we get stuck in though, like I was saying, this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. So thank you very much to those guys for sponsoring us. You can check out surfshark.deals/McKola. And if you use the promo code McKola, MCKOLA, you'll get 83% off and 3 months extra free.
That is honestly an incredible deal.
83%
off.
How do you even come up with that number?
I don't know, but it means you're paying a mere 17% of what it was meant to be, and 3 months free. And it's really good as well. Getting on foreign Netflix, foreign Amazon Prime, you're getting on Hulu, you're getting on the HBO Max, all the stuff that you can't normally get on. And it's actually sensational.
Yeah, it's like, when you're on Twitter or whatever, and there's goals that you want to watch, and the goal plays, and it goes, oh, sorry, you're not in this location. Guess what? You open up the app or whatever it is on whatever device you're on. You've got Mac apps, PC apps, computer phone apps. Computer phone apps?
Yeah, Google
apps. And you can change your location. So now I'm in America, or at least my phone thinks I do, so I can watch those videos.
And also,
like you said with Netflix, I remember when, I can't remember where I went, but I wanted to watch something different on Netflix because I was bored out of my tree. Got on the American one.
If you're not in England, you can watch iPlayer. It's one of those as well where sometimes you just don't want people tracking every single website you go to. Not because you've got something to hide.
What you got to hide, Joe?
Nothing. But sometimes you just think, why does everyone have to be able to save and review everything I've ever done on my computer? Let me just say I'm in Barbados for a bit. It's like a little holiday on your computer, innit? Brilliant.
Talking about Barbados, when I went Barbados, a friend of mine, lady friend of mine, as Jay would say, wanted to watch Love Island, mate. With a VPN.
Perfect.
Could do it.
Surfshark.
Yeah. So there you go. Surfshark. Check it out. Surfshark.deals/McKola to get 83% off and 3 extra months for free. Put in the promo code McKola, MCKOLA. Go do it. Get on it. Anyway, into this video.
Yes.
Let's start off with the first position. Which we both agreed on is right wing, right? Or wenger at least.
If we're working forward backwards, I don't necessarily think it's the most important. If we could only sign, no, I think.
What's the most important?
For me, the most important, if we could only sign one player this summer, it would be a defensive midfielder. I think that's our biggest glaring weakness. I think you're trying to make one player out of Fred and McTominay, or McTominay and Matic, or Matic and Fred, or Donny and, you know what I mean? It's like, we're doing multiplication when really we should just be like, here's the number. Here is the number one guy who plays there. But obviously, the exciting position, the exciting signing is a right winger, an attacker.
See, because I think, whilst we do need a midfielder,
Yeah.
and I totally agree with that, and I think it's one of our top positions, and I think it's kind of stupid to put these in order because you can equally need something.
And you never know what effect each person will have.
But I do think we need a right winger as much as that. We're so unbalanced. And Mason Greenwood's been excellent there in the last couple of weeks, and you hope he'll play more games there and build himself up. But we need a natural winger. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been playing on that right-hand side on his own for 2 seasons, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? And if you look at, especially against Aston Villa, I noticed it, but I notice it all the time. Our left-hand side, Rashford, Pogba, Shaw, is so good. If we can replicate that down the right-hand side, we've got something going on.
And I think Wan-Bissaka is getting a lot better going forward as well, by the way. I think his ball retention is much better than it used to be. Maybe he's learned that from Luke Shaw, because Shaw's brilliant at that. But yeah, some consistency down that side. Right, who are we going for right winger then?
It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, come on.
We'll say it after 3. 3, 2, 1. Jadon Sancho.
Chelskis. Oh, sorry, of course, yeah. Jadon Sancho.
It was second on my list.
Yeah,
he was second.
Sancho, it's got to be on it. We've been linked with him for 2 years now. His price has come down. He's probably had, he has had his worst season in sort of 2 or 3 years. But he's still getting, 11 goals, 9 assists, 20 goals in all competitions, something ridiculous. Like, he still puts up massive numbers, but we could probably get him at a cut price deal. He's English, so he knows Rashford. He'd probably know, Wan-Bissaka maybe not because he's never had that call-up, but he will know players from this squad. He grew up playing for Man City, so he'll have met all these players. He knows them. He speaks the language. All these things where you think, it might make 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. That might make 5 or 6% in terms of how he settles in, how he plays, how he quickly gels with his teammates.
Even just being English, playing English football.
Yeah, he's used to it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like, some of the, probably most of the best players in the Premier League history aren't English.
Yeah.
But in terms of settling in, when people say, he's coming from a different, you've got to give him 12 months or whatever, I don't think you'll have to worry about that with Jadon
No language barrier.
No. He knows Manchester as well. He's not going to turn up and go, like Di Maria's girlfriend did, it was rainy, it was shit, I wanted to leave after 2 weeks.
They did get robbed.
No, I know they did, but that's nothing to do with the weather. Is it? Unless the robber was like, I'm just trying to get some shelter, that's why I smashed your patio window. I don't think that happened. Like, he knows it rains every day. He'll be used to that. So, yeah,
he probably
Sancho.
misses that.
He probably does.
And you know what's great? The price has definitely dropped.
Yeah.
Like, we're hearing 80, 90 million now
Yeah.
talk. And last year it was 108.
120
million euros, 108 million pounds. So the price is more acceptable, it's more palatable, some might say, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can you see a deal happening here?
I can, yeah. If United, we've got John Murtough who's just come in, who's going to want to make a name for himself. Obviously, he doesn't get to tell the Glazers who they sign. I mean, he can put suggestions forward, but they doesn't necessarily sanction those signings. But he's going to want to come in and be like, if I have a shit summer, everyone will immediately hate me. Everyone will go, who's this John Murtough guy? He's got his fuck all, he's got his 2 loan signings and a backup centre-back. He needs to come in and make some sort of mark, and I think he'll probably try and do that with Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, hopefully Jadon Sancho is one of those in. And hopefully it's a move they've already been working on, although probably not.
Probably not.
Coming in at number 2,
Yeah.
the second signing that concerned Manchester United from second place into Premier League title winners. Number 2, what position should we go for here?
I think centre-back.
All right, cool. What player should we go with?
Pau Torres is the one that's been mentioned a lot, isn't he? He gets mentioned.
I feel like
he's one of the players that we mentioned.
Let me just check. So I'm sure of his age, but I feel like
24,
he's too young for me.
I think
we need Rafael Varane.
I could see it. I mean, I would rather have Varane. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have Varane.
So Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, Varane. I know we get linked to Ramos all the time, and it's like, oh God, here we go, and then there's a new contract for him. And some people fear the same here.
Yeah.
Real Madrid need to raise funds.
Yeah.
So I'd get Pogba signed down before we go and enter talks for Varane first, so they can't try and do a mad swap deal. So I'd make sure that's out of the way. But I'd go and chat to him and say, look, he's won everything there. He's bored now. He needs a new challenge. Probably wants to get paid more. He's not going to get a fatter contract at Real Madrid because they haven't got the money. Come to Old Trafford.
And he probably also sees that Real Madrid's team is like, everyone's over 30. Like their starters, Benzema, Kroos, Modric, Ramos, like their main spine of the team,
Navas,
that has won them all these trophies. Obviously, it's Courtois now. That's won them all these trophies. Is like not just over 30, like 33, 34, 35. Do you know what I mean? Casemiro's getting on now. Carvajal's getting on now. It's basically the only young players they've got is Mendy on the left-hand side and Vinicius, who, that's it. So I'm sure you can probably see, like, in 3 years, this Real Madrid team could be worse than it is now. Whereas
and
Man United, the opposite.
His mates with Paul Pogba, won the World Cup with him.
Exactly.
And you talk about age. He's born in 1993, so he's 27, 28 years old. Perfect age, isn't it? Like you just said, what perfect. Like, for coming in alongside Maguire. Do you think he would suit Maguire?
Yeah. I think Maguire's quite versatile. I think them two together would just be brilliant.
Best centre-back partnership in the league?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Because who knows how they'll gel together. But on paper, I would say so, yeah.
Is this, like we both mentioned, Sancho's going to happen? Pretty much like we were just like, yeah, it's going to happen. Do you get the feeling with this one? Or
not quite as much.
It does seem more realistic than Ramos did at the time, though.
Yeah, it does. Because he's only got a year left on his deal as well, Varane. And like I said, Real Madrid aren't the prospect they were. When Ramos was rumoured to be leaving, they had all the players I've just mentioned. It was the same team, but everyone was 27. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone was good.
Everyone was like up and coming, and they had Ronaldo as well. And they had Marcelo, who doesn't even get a game now. He's only 32. So it's like, yeah, they were a much younger team, a much better team, but there was much more reason to stay there. Whereas now, Real Madrid look flaky against Chelsea. I don't necessarily see them as quite the destination they once were. And like you said, they need money.
Rafael Varane, that second signing. So Jadon Sancho on the right wing. Rafael Varane in the heart. We're looking at a team that's kind of like Cavani or Marshall, Sancho, Rashford, Bruno Pogba, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka.
You need the anchor.
Maguire,
Varane.
Henderson. De Gea for me. We're talking DM.
We need someone to hold it all together. You need someone to knit that
Need the glue.
attacking sensations that are in front of them together. Because at Real Madrid you have Casemiro. At Barcelona for years you had Busquets. At City you've had Fernandinho. At Liverpool they ain't got a midfield. But these big teams, at Chelsea it's Kante. They have this anchor that just allows the rest of the team to play the ball, to feel free on the ball and not worry about being counter-attacked all the time. And for me, that person is Wilfried Ndidi.
Ooh.
I think he's not quite as... I think he does offer more than just sort of sitting in front of the defence, but alongside, if you put him and Pogba together next to each other, I think that would work fantastically. Like how we saw Pogba and Kante together for France. I don't think they've ever lost a game together, those two in there. And Ndidi isn't the same as Kante. He doesn't have the same legs. He doesn't have the same energy. He's he's 6'3". He's not the same type of player. But in terms of someone who concentrates on that defensive side, I think he'd be perfect.
It's a good shout, Ndidi. The reason I didn't go Ndidi is because, one, changed my mind, a bit flaky.
Yeah.
And two, I feel like Leicester are in a position where they might have Champions League football.
Yeah.
They don't need to sell as much as most teams in the Premier League. Got wealthy owners. They'll keep him. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't really, although they've signed Soumare, which is making people think, are they getting ready for Ndidi's departure, which is interesting, but they've always had good recruitment there. I feel like they don't have to sell, and therefore I'd go with Declan Rice. And I know this is weird for me because I've written him off before.
Slagged him off.
Not slagged him off, I said he was overrated. Well, now I think he's rated.
Good.
Yeah.
Underrated even.
Yeah, hate him now. Not underrated. He's still a little bit overrated.
Fairly rated.
But I see why he's rated now.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of those players like Michael Carrick, where unless you watch them every week, you won't see the impact that he has on the team. His recoveries, his tackles, his intelligence in terms of the pace that he covers, the positioning that he covers, and the fact that they've got Jesse Lingard already, they're going to want to keep Jesse Lingard. We can drive that price down. Now, in the summer, I know I never said to you have to stick to a transfer budget, so this isn't what I'm saying. But in the summer, if you look at it, Sancho, 80 million, let's say. Varane, 60, 70?
Yep.
That's 150.
He's only got a year left on his deal.
That's
so
150 million, yeah?
Yeah.
We'd probably sell one or two players, recoup back 20, 30, yeah? So now we spent 120. You can get Declan Rice for 50 million plus Lingard, or 50,
40 million plus Lingard. 50, yeah.
You've spent around 150, 160 million.
Yeah.
Which is realistic
for
Manchester United.
Yeah. That's not, you wouldn't look at that and go, that's never going to happen. Because United have spent that in the past.
In fact, I think we spent that around that much when we bought Wan-Bissaka and everyone.
The problem is that we sold Lukaku, didn't
Yeah,
we? So
bastard.
we don't quite have that income coming in. But hopefully, we didn't spend much last summer. We've got a bit spare this summer. I'd take Declan Rice. I'd prefer Ndidi, but I can see why you'd go with
Why
Rice.
do you prefer Ndidi if you're comparing the two?
Because I think he's done it. I don't know. And admittedly, I haven't seen hundreds of games of either. But when I watch them both, Ndidi is one of those players where you sort of go, fucking hell, where did he... Like, he sneaks up and he just wins the ball back. Whereas Rice is a bit more, oh, there he is, making his... he's a bit more, I'll do it in front of the defence and I'll sort of see everything in front of me, which, like you said, does have more of a character to it. But Ndidi's like, fucking hell, where's that leg come from? he's just a bit more...
More robust, mobile, aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggression is probably the word.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
In terms of getting in people's faces and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally hear you. 3 interesting signings. And even if it was Ndidi or Rice,
Yeah,
I think we win the league.
me too.
I really do.
With those 3, yeah.
And on that note, safe to say 21 is coming, right? Guys, thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring us today. Remember, you can download Surfshark. The link is in the description below. Surfshark.deals/McKola. The promo code McKola, easy to remember, all on the screen. MCKOLA. 83% off and 3 extra months for free. I
Ridiculous.
mean, you basically pay 17% of 1 month for 4 months.
Come on, give it a go.
What's not to love?
Exactly.
Get on it. Make sure you're watching your Netflix from all around the globe and that, even though you're sat in your house. You can't fly nowadays, but you can with Surfshark. So get on that. Thank you to Joe for joining us.
Thank you.
Follow him on Joe Smith93 on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're downloading Surfshark. Thank you for tuning in. Check him out on the socials. We'll see you in a bit.